guys, how are you doing? Good afternoon. So I think we are in for some exciting session. This is about search engine optimization. We're talking about some best practices. Uh, if I just set it to a context, how many of you have heard of Asif Hussain Shah, a taxi driver in Pakistan? Or Prince Pan Corner in GK1? Okay. How many of you have heard of Punjabi Dhaba in Chicago? Okay. You know what's the common between all of these? They are all use search engine optimization in different forms. They are best founded, they are best crawled, they are best indexed. So it's not about the fact that it's about a marketer or an SME or a mom and pop shop which has to create that kind of visibility on the search engine. On the organic search side of it, it can be just about anybody and everybody. Okay, so with that, I think there is no denying of the fact that how important it is for us to actually do SEO for a marketer to do an SEO for the site, but it's how critical it is, how strategic is it that they are using it out to be. So I think coming back to the panel, we have quite an erudite panel with us. Vivek comes in with a huge amount of experience, having been among the front runners in the search and social space ever since it has started. Then Siddharth comes with a lot of experience in the international best practices, having specialized in e-commerce technologies to a large extent in his B school, and having seen the international side of it. Harneet comes with a lot of experience on the telcos and consumer durables, having built up brands like Kohler right from the scratch and having created a magic out of it. Now he's been, for the last 4 years, he's been heading a fast food fast food brand called Domino's. And so we have quite an exciting panel here. So to kick off the session, I would like to just have a few sound bites on how strategic it is for marketers right now as far as SEO is concerned. We all understand the criticality of it, but has it got that kind of a strategic importance? Has it really created that kind of a space and niche in the entire marketing manager's mix? So Vivek, maybe we can start with you.
Sure. So I think it is not. Honest answer is, I think SEO is considered to be in IT domain something that a marketing manager may not or should do or should not do. It's still confusing to a lot of enterprises. Secondly, I think even from budgetary point of view, I've had large organizations who are spending 10 crores a year on digital advertising, and they still use an SEO agency, which very few people would have heard of. From an enterprise level, I think the way the paid media is evolving, if you take the UK markets, a car insurance click would cost 99p 10 years back. Today it's 15 pounds a click. Similarly, in India, a car insurance click was costing 10 rupees a click 5 years back, and today it's already costing 120 rupees. So, until one has a very clear strategic direction of how they're going to do SEO, it's going to be unsustainable for them to continue. Sooner or later, paid media probably can get expensive, and it has to be balanced with SEO. But that is not a priority for a lot of organizations. So we work with a lot in the financial sector and the travel sector. There, I think it has become important. But that criticality, what SEO can deliver, is right now missing in many of the large enterprises also. They think SEO is something which, okay, it's nice to have. It doesn't seem to be must to have at this point in time. And the way it is evolving with universal search coming in, all your social assets like video, pictures, news, Wikipedia, Twitter, Facebook, all of this, if it ranks, it acts as a multiplier across all the digital endeavors you have. So I think it's about time that CMOs and large enterprises realize that SEO is a very integral component of the digital endeavors. And if they don't put in enough effort, money and resources behind it, sooner or later it can actually destabilize all the other marketing endeavors.
Siddharth?
Sure, I agree with Vivek, even though I thought I would disagree with him. Doesn't this room actually show it's not a hot topic? We hardly have a quarter of this room full, whereas if this was a social media kind of thing, I think the room would be jam-packed. So my take is that a lot of marketing managers still do not believe in the importance of SEO. They haven't grasped what it can actually truly deliver. I like the example Vivek was talking about, where the cost of pay-per-click, etc., is growing rapidly. And if marketers start to invest in SEO, that will make a lot of sense. Just to show the importance of what SEO does, how many of you out here, and I'm going to ask this to the audience, is if you do a search on Google, how many of you go to page 3, 4, or 5 when you're looking for something? And how many of you just stay on page 1? So how many of you are actually going to page 3, 4, 5 on Google? Is there anyone? Rarely. And there's a rare number of you who are actually saying they do go to page 3. Whereas page 1 is where all the action is. Statistics show us this 87% of all clicks are in the paid organic area. Only 13% are in the PPC or the paid side of things. So search engine optimization, if you want to understand the importance, you are investing so much more money, like he said, 10 crores being spent on digital. But when it comes to SEO, you're spending a fraction of that amount, whereas it's taking up 87% of the clicks over there. Another example is that on your page 1 itself, you've got the top 5 search results, which are pulling in 65% of all clicks. So, and nowadays brands, if they are not associated in those top 3 search results, they're missing out. Because let's say if I go and type, say, a wireless router, and if I'm a manufacturer of wireless router, if I'm not in the top 3, I think the brand is losing value. What do you think, Harneet?
Actually, I don't fully agree with my friends here. Just to, what I believe is that SEO has actually evolved a lot over last few years. To me today, if I were to put it, SEO is actually a marketer's delight. No investment, very high returns. Kind of unpaid media, if I were to call it. And if I were to get all my traffic through SEO and spend nothing on SEM, I would be the happiest marketer, right? So that way, I think it's becoming important. People are realizing its importance. Just to cite the way it has evolved for us over last 3 years, in Domino's, I would just take in, format of our friends in FB, what they call timeline, and start with 2007 and 2008 when we, for us, digital marketing was actually, in importance almost zero. For us, if I were to talk about SEO, it did not even figure in my scheme of things. The total digital assets, if I had, was one crappy website with some full of, flashy stuff, and did not feature at all in any of the keyword searches. In terms of investment on SEO, I was actually paying peanuts, and
Getting monkeys.
and obviously getting monkeys. And the kind of traffic that we had on our website was 40,000 a month, which was coming from organic searches. Cut to 2010, Domino's globally launched the e-commerce platform. Huge success, and there was across markets, Europe, whether it's Europe, US, Australia, we saw huge successes. And in India also, we started investing behind creating that infrastructure where we could launch our e-commerce platform. And then, in 2010, we became the first brand in food category to launch e-commerce platform. Now, cut to 2011. I talk of digital assets. We have a website, which is a fantastic e-commerce platform. Today it delivers in 10 months of launch, 10% of my delivery revenue actually comes from that platform. And in terms of digital marketing, it's a very high priority agenda on my radar, what I should be doing on that. Investment, if I were to, SEO is very important, very, very important. And in terms of investment, if, I can call it actually, I'm actually paying a bomb with a smiley because I'm happy with the ROI. And in terms of visitors, we have almost 500,000 visitors coming every month to our website now through organic search. So from 50,000 3 years back to 500,000 in just 3 years' time is just wonderful.
So, one question I would like to ask you, because you said the word bomb, right? So, so let's say if 500,000 people would come to you from PPC, how much would it cost you? And if you compare that with the amount of investments which you call a bomb in SEO, how does it compare and why is it treated differently?
I said with a smiley.
Yeah, but you know, need to
Okay, so the
justify.
point-
Why is it different? That
It
means, you
is
know what happens is,
because
so I'll just
today-
justify myself 1 second, that a person is willing to pay 100 rupees per click for a PPC, and the same person finds 3 rupees a visitor on SEO expensive. So I just wanted to know, I've not understood it as yet, so from the marketing perspective, I would love to understand why is it so.
See, okay, one acronym, you know, the marketers are all jargon. So, you know, if I were to put SEO, what it was for me 3 years back, it was actually for sound effect only. You know, everybody's talking SEO, herd mentality, chalo yaar, main bhi karta hu, kar lo. You know, that types. Today, SEO is, you know, for me is सबसे efficient option on digital marketing. You know, that's been the mindset change that has come in last 3 years. I said we pay a bomb because, you know, really I know that we are getting a lot of visitors, but what is the future from here, and what is the, you know, expectation from, and how do I value what kind of return I'm getting? You know, it's actually slightly hazy. The complexity is added to it because, you know, even the people whom we work with are not so clear in what SEO actually delivers.
Then come to us.
So I think Harneet has a very arduous task to actually arduous task to get caught marketing CMO getting caught between two agencies. So that brings us to an important question, as in there could be aberrations of the fact that there are some marketing managers for whom SEO is extremely strategic. There are most of the marketing managers, if you get to see the research data, it's quite startling. Of the large MNCs, close to about 48% of the marketers, the CMOs or even the head of marketing aren't even aware that if their SEO is getting optimized or not. Close to about 70% of the total universe of the large corporations are not even aware that even if it is getting optimized, it is in the right hands or not. So that brings us to a very important question as to, and more importantly, it's the agencies and the associates and the partners who have to actually play a good role in this entire process. So that brings us to a very important question of the right metrics. So if we have to get push the envelope across onto the CMO, are we getting the right metrics in place? So maybe we can start with Harneet. So what are the metrics that you would look for when you look for a successful SEO program?
Let me tell you in general how does the marketing fraternity looks at it. You know, I can surely tell you 80% of people don't know how to do SEO and where to start from SEO. Not from technical point of view, but what it does for the business. To set up a SEO practice and to really drive juice out of it, you know, I think one, there's no, the kind of importance that should be attributed to SEO is actually not being attributed not only on the marketer side, even I think on the agency side, because they see more and easy bucks coming in by using SEM and, you know, rather than investing in SEO, which is so true to the inherent to the business. For me, you know, if I were to look at it, top ranking on a SEO organic search is all about, you know, trust a customer has in a brand. It's about relevance, it's about exposure, it's about, you know, how much, because the bigness of the brand to me, the consumer, when he looks at the search results and see, okay, top 3 results are these, so these brands must be relevant on what I'm searching. So from that context, SEO actually becomes more important than, you know, a paid thing.
Yeah. So with more and more e-commerce sites coming up, I think beyond rank and traffic, is performance also making sense? Because at the end of it, it's ROI. Even if it is about say about $500 million of being spent annually on an SEO program, finally it's going to be the marketing managers going to ask for performance. Is it about rank and traffic that stays with it, or is it going to be performance? Vivek, any point of view?
I think, Siddharth, you can take it. Whatever you say, I'm going to disagree with it.
I know. We discussed this earlier. So I totally believe that it has to be a measurement which is more rank and traffic based. Now, and I'll sort of underpin it by saying that if you actually select the right kind of keywords, and then because the right kind of keywords are the keywords that are going to bring relevant traffic to you, which is the important bit, then this is what's going to justify the ROI of the project. That's in my hand. I can deliver the right kind of traffic by taking the correct keywords. But when the brand marketer comes to me and says to me that, Siddharth, you do the SEO for me. If you get me to the top, I'll pay you. If you don't, I won't. I totally disagree with that, because do I come to a pizza shop, I eat your pizza and say I won't pay for it unless I'm satisfied. So you aren't going to give me the pizza beforehand. I'll eat my pizza. If I'm not happy, I won't pay you for it. I'm sure you won't accept that as a business model. So why should we as SEO agencies accept that as a business model?
Definitely, I don't think that is the way I look at it. See, the way I look at it is, if I am doing, we have an e-commerce site. The entire objective of us being present on digital space is to drive traffic on the e-commerce platform, and obviously conversions coming from that. Now, if somebody comes and tells me that, I will do SEO and you will be number one and pay me, but I am not assuring you whether you'll get right traffic and you'll get conversions, then I really don't care about it. Ultimately, what I would I do with people, hordes of people coming in and going out from first page of my website when they're not even interested.
Right.
Okay, so let me contradict as we decided. So see, the thing is that I also agree that, if the agency is not being paid a retainer and it's going to be only performance, whether it's even traffic or ranking, whatever the metric is, right, it's going to be impossible for them to service any partner, right? So the thing is that, is performance important? I believe it is, because what happens is that if you're getting increased traffic, but that traffic is not converting, that means that the traffic is probably not very relevant. Right? So the thing is, the metric of performance is critical and it's important. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of things that you can do in SEO which actually can add to that. So I'll give you a couple of examples which are very simple examples. One of the partners we were working for globally, they were ranking number 1 on, let's say, mobile phones, right? It says gaming phone. Now the thing is, when the user word, we looked at the analytics, we found that a lot of visitors were just the high bounce rate, complete exit, and there was that per se is a disastrous conversions. And then we found that it was ranking last year's model in number 1. So it was ranked number 1, a lot of traffic, but it was last year's model of that phone. So obviously the consumers were disappointed. Similarly, one of the other examples we have is HDFC.com works with us for a keyword EMI calculator. They were ranking number 5 or 6. They were getting about pretty decent amount of traffic, but they were not getting home loan applications. So what happened was Google had indexed the pop-up window itself. So when we looked at it from analytics, we saw that, okay, all this traffic, what is happening to it? Why is it exiting? Why is it not applying for home loans? Because it's a very buy-oriented keyword, right? It's the last phase of the buying cycle, EMI calculation.
Absolutely.
We put a apply for home loan and go to homepage link on that landing page. The 3-4 things that happened. First thing that happened was home loan price applications went through the roof. A lot of people started coming back to the site and exploring other things that they had. And lastly, the rank jumped from number 6 to number 2 because Google puts a lot of relevancy. The user doesn't come back to Google immediately. That means from an SEO point of view, you get a lot of benefit out of that. So all I'm saying is, as agencies, if we stop our work that we've achieved a certain rank, we are done with, and we don't look at what's happening to the traffic thereafter, I think we're not being fair to the brand.
Absolutely, but that's exactly my point, that I said relevant traffic. Now, if I'm delivering that relevant traffic, and therefore the keywords that you choose are important, you have to choose them.
No, so I'm saying conversions defines relevancy. If you're not converting, that whatever your keywords say, the client has not got relevant traffic. So the thing is, the metric of relevancy can be, conversion can be a surrogate for that metric.
Correct, and you apply conversion rate optimization, like you just said. You put a buy now button on it, or in the case of mobile phones, if you're getting all that traffic and it's bouncing out, we could still take that traffic
So then we agree.
Put it on 301s.
Then we agree.
No. But still, yes, you're right that we need to have some kind of minimum retainer.
I agree. We never defined. See, performance doesn't mean that you're not going to get paid.
Actually, I might have my solution is actually a hybrid solution. Absolutely. What I believe is that unlike SEM, SEO requires certain amount of work which is on ongoing basis. So I think that has to be compensated through retainer. Correct. Plus 100% there has to be a performance-driven culture that has to be brought in. Yep. So, and then that would substantiate the amount of efforts that agency puts, and also enthusiasm, passion, and incentivizing anything works in India.
I agree.
I think it's a hybrid model which has to be evolved. And I have not come across any agency, which would come to me and say, okay, give me X as a retainer and, every 100 conversion or 100 traffic that I bring, pay me by rupees. I think that's a way to move ahead in the SEO space, and which would really give it importance, in not only in the agency side, but also on the marketer side, because then there will be, at least people will know that, what is the ROI I'm getting, what is happening, and so the control over what you spend and what you achieve is much higher.
Let me take a competitive category in this case. Since you guys are saying that it's ranking and traffic which is more important, and then the performance will come on its own, and it has to be the relevant traffic which has to be brought in. If you take a travel, the OTA or the online travel aggregators for that matter, for them the SEO strategy is completely different. It's not just about xyz.com, xyztravel.com versus abctravel.com. They create n number of cloning sites and try to optimize that. So eventually it is actually leading to a performance, as in where that xyztravel.com is the main site, and there are affiliate sites which they have created, which has just nothing but only a form widget. So it's about performance, right? So that's about how it should be looked at. How do you react to that?
So, Shekhar, I'll tell you one thing. You touched upon a very, very important point, and I'll stress on it. I think the reason why the SEO for a lot of these companies are being done right now and remotely successful is because the spam team of Google is actually not started shining his lens on India as yet. A lot of practices are being followed, I think are not, they may not be black hat, but they're definitely grey hat for sure. It means a grey hat technique is where you're trying to monitor search engine or influence search engine results not the right way, right? And if the spam techniques which are being followed by them, when Google spam team comes to India, maybe once they get $1 billion plus of PPC revenue, maybe they start coming to India, they are going to definitely get impacted by it. What we're saying is that yes, SEO to a certain extent, what happens is the way it is structured, it is almost very difficult to get non-relevant traffic for a lot of brands, because the way search engines rank people is based on relevancy. So what happens is that automatically for that particular product, that particular vertical, if you're not relevant, it'll be very difficult to rank you, even if I wanted to. So SEO by de facto, it takes care of relevance automatically. PPC I can bid for Shah Rukh Khan, but if I want to rank number 1 for Shah Rukh Khan for a person whose brand ambassador is not Shah Rukh Khan, it's very, very difficult.
So,
but not impossible.
To Vivek's point, Siddharth, if it's about so much important of the fact that it's relevant traffic, and if it is not about performance, how do you react to this? The fact that I know of travel clients which have actually in-house teams who are so much stressed on the fact that they have to deliver performance. They have to deliver of the 35-40% of the acquisition has to come out of SEO. There's a huge churn which is happening, and so how do you react to this?
Exactly.
So ultimately it is performance, right? So
yeah. So I like the point you touched upon that the managers, SEO managers, whether it's the SEO agency or the SEO managers, they are under pressure when it's a performance-based model. And you might take the shortcut on this. And the shortcut is where the SEO agency starts doing black hat techniques. I don't know how much of the audience has heard of white hat or black hat. Guys, how many of you have heard of black hat? Okay, a spattering. So essentially, it is where you utilize techniques which are not looked upon favorably by Google. So Google's the search engine was based on a PageRank technology where it's votes that count. So if you get a link from a third-party website telling that this site is about Domino's Pizza, they feel that that's about Domino's Pizza. So a lot of SEO agencies started going and exploiting this loophole by getting third-party websites to link to you, and that's one way you can boost ranking. But that's a short-term strategy, and I think we were going to sort of touch upon this more in the ethical side of SEO. So maybe do you want me to just...
Yeah, Siddharth, you know what, I can probably explain it. Let me explain white hat, black hat slightly more simply. A user and a search engine, if they're treated differently, so the search engine gets something and the user gets something. The search engine sends a spider to a site and that spider is directed somewhere else, but the user is treated differently. That straight away is black hat. If you, let's say, early days, 10, 12 years back, what people would do is they would put white text on a white background. So consumers would not see anything, right? But the search engine spiders would read a lot of text, right? So obviously the black hat techniques have evolved a lot and become much more sophisticated by now. But if you just take white text on white background, it's a very classical black hat technique that the consumers are seeing normal text, and search engines are seeing a lot more text on the same page.
Vivek, actually, what you're referring to certainly is a black hat technique. It's called cloaking, where you show one result to the search engine and a completely different search result to a user. And a very good example of this is BMW. I don't think many of you will know this, but BMW actually got banned from the Google index because it was engaging in this practice called cloaking, where when the user, as if I went, they showed the normal BMW page with pictures of the car, etc. But when the Google crawler went, it saw full of text, BMW, rich text was what was shown to the user. Black hat technique. Links. As soon as you engage in link buying, it is a black hat technique. There's nothing gray hat about it. As soon as you're exchanging links, that's black hat. So, and a lot of people don't understand this, and that's the problem. Like, forget marketing managers. Sometimes SEO agencies engage in practices because of this performance-based model, and that's why I'm so against this performance-based model.
When you take an example of
it's not the performance, depends what are you defining as performance. If you're defining as being on rank number 1 as your performance, then obviously there will be unethical practices. But if your matrix of performance is, relevant traffic coming, relevant conversion happening, then you cannot cheat neither the visitor nor the search engine.
I am taking the performance as what Shekhar defined it, where they wanted 40% of the revenue to come from SEO.
Yeah, so touching upon specifically an FMCG major, if it has to do some kind of an optimization, considering the fact that if you are talking of a GSK or a Pepsi or a Cadbury's, not that they would be having a very consistent website to actually get optimized. What would be this? What could be the strategy? As in, if I'm an FMCG major, and if I have to reach out, considering the fact that 70% of the audience actually comes out of an organic search, is there any methodology? Harneet, can you any specific assets that I can create and?
See, what is happening today in the marketing world is that the typical FMCG clients, the Levers, Nestle's, and the P&Gs. P&G is one exception, but actually have not realized or don't see that, the internet audience, at least in India, has reached a stage where they should start investing and giving due importance to the digital marketing in the entirety. SEO being part of it actually, gets even lower importance. Because what happens is that, if I'm a mass brand, and my target audience is 800 million people across the country, and the reach of internet is 40, 50 million, or now people say 100 million, I really don't know that number. But then, if I am through one channel reaching only 40, 50 million people, which is like 5% of my total target audience, then that vehicle will actually get that much lower importance. For brands like, the durable category, for us, the food for us, and also the categories where the relevance of this 100 million people is much higher as a TG, are the people who are actually right now really investing behind this set of audience and digital marketing. So if you look at consumer durable, whether it's Samsung, LG, or you look at, brands like who are in spaces like which are more towards SEC A and A+, would actually start investing in that. 3 years back, we were actually, for me, as I said, digital marketing was not important at all, because I was targeting a much wider audience. And we did not have our e-commerce platform, and we thought, I was not very sure what it will do for us. But today it is a different game, because we have, a loop closure in form of e-commerce. People come, place order, so it's a loop closure happening. I think sooner or later, FMCG sector would also realize, and I think it's actually going to come in a big way on the digital marketing platform.
So if I'm, say, a Cadbury's, and I've created an idea which has gone viral, obviously I will be seen on those places where those specific videos has got posted, and that's getting viral, that's getting talked about on Facebook, that's getting tweeted across, that's getting posted on the blogs and all those stuff. But how do I get them back onto the SERP or the search engine result page, which contributes to almost 70% of the traffic where it is coming from?
Sure. So I think the key out here is, in fact, two of the things I would like to address. One of the things that, Harneet mentioned about, like one of the things we mentioned earlier was this whole thing about, let's say for FMCG category, if you take pizza, right, there are 50,000 people searching for the word pizza, but your target audience is 50 million. So how do you actually get more traffic for that? And this is one place where I think content creation is becoming a sort of a spinal cord for whatever you want to do in SEO. It's actually becoming important for even social media. So the content creation, actually how it works is that you create a content based on the psychographic you want to target. What are the psychographics who have a maximum propensity to buy a certain product of FMCG? And there is a company called Ching's Secret who's doing a phenomenal job on this. They've created content on cricket, on hundreds of different topics, singing and songs and salsa and cooking and recipes, etc. Maybe probably 200, 300 or maybe 1,000 plus videos right now. And they're getting ranked on a lot of these things automatically. That brings me to the next thing about how do you do SEO at the point of creation itself. So when you're creating a digital asset, it could be a video. Now we don't know whether it's going to go viral, but the way you create the video itself, if you put the right structure on the videos, you put the right tags, you have made sure that certain key backlinks can be brought down to that video page, etc. Because for it to go viral, you need to seed it. Now seeding can happen through promoted videos, PPC, but it can also happen through SEO if you can get it ranking. And the other benefit is how SEO works on universal search is that when one video gets popular and it starts ranking, what happens is when you come and see it, other videos on the same page, on the same brand channel will also get further popularity. Personalized search comes in. So if a person has visited a page or website or YouTube channel once before, when he's searching for similar content, he'll now come, he'll get a much higher rank the second time around and third time around. That's the reason a lot of brands, when they search on their own machines, they see rank number 1 for their own products, while they actually may not be ranked number 1 on their own products.
Yeah, so that brings us to another important way the search engine result page has got impacted. With more and more people logging into even without logging in, your search result page is getting impacted because the way you are traversing your laptop or desktop, based on the kind of cookies it is getting tracked, the personalized searches are getting important. Is SEO still relevant, Siddharth, if with personalized searches, with more and more personalized searches getting in, the way you see 1 to 10 rank, my machine's 1 to 10 rank is very different from that of Harneet's machine. Is
Right.
it still relevant that you still have an opportunity to do an SEO for a site?
Sure. So I'll just elaborate on what Shekhar was just talking about in terms of personalized search. So as an example, if I was to type in the word Java out here in the audience, what are the things you're thinking about? Coffee, JavaScript, pudding, country, right? So just to show you the complexity, so 4 different people thought 4 different things. So Google doesn't know what is it that you're looking for. What personalized search has done when they introduced Google Universal was they started tracking the user's habits. And based on that, they knew that if this guy is a travel enthusiast, he is probably looking for Java Islands. If this guy is a coffee connoisseur, then he's probably looking for coffee. And that's how search results used to get started getting displayed. So search has actually evolved significantly in the last 10 years. And one of the things that actually drove this practice was when 9/11 happened, users were searching for the latest news about 9/11, but Google failed to deliver in this. You cut to, say, 2010, Michael Jackson died. Within seconds, you had instant results about what was happening with Michael Jackson. That's because another algorithm kicked in, which was Google Caffeine. Google Caffeine allowed Google to search and deliver results instantly in real time. So search is constantly evolving, and we need to evolve with this search. If we don't, and if SEO managers or agencies are practicing techniques which are probably no longer relevant, and the reason I say that is not so much from an SEO agency perspective, but more because a lot of brands still trust their web designer to be looking, or their webmaster to be looking after this important asset. And that probably was the case with you guys 4 years ago. And those guys, they are trained at designing a nice looking website and not so much in terms of SEO. So.
Okay. So let me, I think, probably then answer your question a little bit differently.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the question was, is SEO because of personalization still going to be relevant? Right? So let me just give you an example. I think the relevance of SEO because of personalization actually has become more important. Let's take a simple example. Suppose earlier there was no personalization. You didn't rank for a certain keyword, right? And you started ranking, the user came to your website, and then he would search for something else, right? You would have to do SEO for that keyword also. Getting the user first time was not so critical. Now what happens is, because of personalization, if your competitor gets him first and that person visits the competition site first, then you're always going to be in a vicious cycle, and he's going to win over a lot of other keywords, and then he comes a second time, then he's going to win even on more keywords, and then defeating competition for the whole category and the whole vertical of keywords is going to be impossible. So without personalization, you could still start SEO late and still get away with it. But now it's become critical, because if you don't start SEO early and ensure that your target audience comes to your website first before he visits your competitor's site, then you're doomed forever, because then getting out of that mess is going to be almost impossible, because that user is always going to get better results from competition because he already engaged the competition site before you. So I think personalized search is the biggest benefit that it has given organizations who've done good SEO, because they get into a virtuous cycle which keeps on giving them benefit even for unrelated keywords forever.
Vivek, you've done... Yeah, sure.
Don't you guys hate Google? You know, this is making life more complex here.
I thought my parents should have made me a doctor instead. It would have been easier.
Vivek, you have done a lot of stuff on offshore from both SEM and SEO perspective, and you've looked at the overall digital landscape now with getting into social aspect of us. So is there any synergy which you can see between SEM, SEO and social? Is there a joining line between three of these?
So I think, luckily for us, what has happened is that we work with quite a few of the large search agencies globally, and they come to train us, so we get to learn best practices of multiple people. In fact, our head of strategy, he had come to train us 7 years back. So after 7 years of, sort of pinging him, this rainy London, what are you doing in London? Finally, he said, okay, had it, I'm coming to India. So he joined us 2 years back. One of the biggest things we learned was that the way they use SEO and PPC in synergy with each other is phenomenal. So let me give you a few examples of how people out there are using it, and it's great, because let's say, an example, you have a rank number 1 on SEO, you have a rank number 1 on PPC. So many times I've been asked questions out here in India whether should we shut off our PPC. One of the things we did co-optimization for a brand was that the rank number 1 on PPC focused on the value delivered by the brand, while the rank number 1 on SEO talked about price. So what happened was you were able to target 2 psychographics of users, one that believed in value, one on price. And that also, we focused on the price on SEO and value in PPC. So what happens is, where you're paying, you want a value-driven customer, while you're focusing on free, which is organic, we focused on the price-driven customer. Similarly, if you have a certain keyword that's given you a conversion, now it gave you a conversion even if the guy clicked on a rank number 15, that means second page of Google. You can take the converting keywords from analytics and make sure that those are bid won on PPC. The ad site links of PPC now allow you 5 to 6 different kinds of links of what you should say. Same with webmaster tools. In SEO, you can have 5, 6 links. So suppose you have 10, 12 different services to sell. You can use complementary, some services being sold by PPC, some by SEO, because now when you have ad site links on both PPC and in organic, it's almost 50% of Google, and Google is the most expensive real estate get 50% of that just by one organic link and one SEM link. We have a lot of ways in which co-optimization can be done. Even ad copy snippets, right? You have SEO snippets. So many times what happens is, I see companies, they spend so much effort in co-optimizing the ad copy of PPC, right? And they have such atrocious ad copy for the SEO. They don't even treat ad copy of SEO as an ad. they think वो तो IT वाले लिखेगा. I've seen, because of that, so many times we've taken sites where we change 150, 200 keywords, we change the ad copy on the SEO snippet. And because of that, what happened was the CTR went up. So we got almost double the traffic with the same ranks. And because they got more higher CTR, the rank jumped. So if you ask me, just changing the ad copy of SEO allowed us to increase the traffic substantially just by doing this. So, and what we did was the ad copies that are working in PPC for that same keyword, those are the ones we pasted in SEO because we knew they worked, right? It's easy to test ad copies in SEO, in PPC. So, I can go on for probably half an hour more about what kind of synergies one can bring to the other, but there are a lot of synergies, and when you co-optimize, the multiplier effect is phenomenal.
Yeah, before throwing it open, one of the other aspects which I would like to touch upon, the fact that mobile internet as a usage is almost crossing over 100 million. With more and more, because of the ubiquity of the device, there is lot amount of usage of the youngsters between, especially with the advent of smartphones. There's a lot of usage happening in that. So, Harneet, any perspective from a marketer standpoint as to, how effectively it is going to drive the usage from a search point of view on an organic search? How important it's for you to do a website optimization on the mobile side optimization?
See, I would actually put it like this. Irrespective whether it is a digital medium or a offline medium or a traditional medium, the job of a marketer is to be where the consumer is. If my consumer yesterday was watching TV and was out listening to radio, I was spending on that. Today, I see my consumer spending more and more time on, internet, on laptops, and more importantly, moving forward on the mobile phones and smartphones. I don't think that, the marketer or a guy who is responsible for driving the business can, neglect any of those mediums. So, I foresee that, the revenue mix, in fact, the media mix moving in the favor of digital marketing tools, whether it is SEO, SEM, whether it's mobile, it's moving more and more in that direction in future. The fact that almost 100 million people use internet on mobile, makes it a more potent medium for a marketer to be present on. Now, the challenge actually is not so much on marketers, but it is equally on the agency side, because they have to now come up with the way of integrating all of these together. What is happening today is and that's a fact, that most of the agencies in the country are not coming with an integrated solution to a consumer, to a marketer. So what happens is that, today I have 3 agencies handling, one is handling SEO, other is handling SEM, and there's a third guy who's handling social media marketing. I don't see any coherent strategy being driven because all the 3 guys are different. While what is driving this? Because I believe that the expertise of the 3 guys lies in those 3 segments, and then I cannot go to one guy and say, boss, do all 3 for me. So I think this entire category has to evolve. The digital marketing agencies have to evolve, and it has to be in sync with what the future requirements are. And there is a lot of area that has to be covered. Once we to reach a stage where, as a market, as a community, the digital marketing folks and the the entire industry come together and come on equal footing with the traditional media.
Thank you, Harneet, Vivek, Siddharth. Thanks, audience, for this, for being attentive and being a wonderful audience. Thank you very much.